Good evening, folks. We're going to call the meeting to order here at 7 o'clock at 1 Academy Street on Tuesday, September 7th. First item on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and join us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda review. Personnel's already on there. Session.
No, we're not thinking about that.
I think we're just going to leave it. Yeah. We're good with that. We got a lot on the agenda, so. Yeah. I don't have anything to add in agenda review.
No additions.
Anything? Nicole?
No, thank you.
Earl, anything?
All flat.
Kathy?
I'm good, thank you.
David?
Nope.
Ed?
Good to go.
Good? Okay. I can hear a motion to approve the minutes from the August 17th regular select board / Zoom meeting.
I'll make that motion to accept the minutes for, dated August 17th, 2021. That's all right.
I second it.
And second it. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Public comment. Anybody got a comment to make on a public comment that's not on the agenda? Anybody out there? Okay. Well-
Was that a yes from Betsy?
I didn't see no Betsy.
Okay.
Oh, wait, yes, it is. No, I'm not here. Oh, Betsy answered that, sorry.
Does Betsy got something to say?
No, she's
no.
answered yes, she did.
Okay.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay, thanks Betsy for clarifying that. Law enforcement, Swanton Police Chief report. Chief Stell. Good to see you.
It's okay. I can stand.
Just pass them around, it's fine.
I'm not sure if this is enough.
Knowing you guys got a long agenda, I'll start you real quick.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
So for the month of August, we responded to, including the property watches that we do, 125 calls for service in the town of Swanton. We issued another 12 warnings for traffic violations and 5 traffic citations, resulting in $1,099 worth of fines issued in the town of Swanton in August. The other thing that's more of note lately has been the vandalism on the rail trail, some vandalism at the elementary school. We have identified positively one of the individuals, the actual person that did all the vandalism. He was interviewed today and confessed to it. He unfortunately is a young man that goes to our school system, and that's being dealt with. Will be dealt with through the court system. What the outcomes of that case will be, at this point in time, I have no clue.
Yeah.
He admitted to doing the school vandalism along with the other one along the rail.
Oh, this is a juvenile.
Yeah.
Just one individual involved?
What's that?
Just one individual?
Well, that's what we're still trying to figure out if there was one. He admitted to doing all the painting. We also identified where he actually stole the paint that he used to do it. We've identified that. The unfortunate part is that his mental capacity is a little limited. I don't think he really understood what he was doing, or what he was even displaying, understanding the hatred that he was actually portraying. From the interviews, I don't think he really comprehended what a swastika meant or what some of the other stuff meant. So that's what really, kind of tragic in the whole thing is that I think it's going to need to be more of an educational piece for this young man than just a prosecution piece. So I thought I'd figure that you folks know because
Appreciate that.
every citizen's been contacting us on the rail trail, and we were able to, with some help from citizens and other were able to identify that individual over the weekend. We're able to sit down with him and his mom today and wrap that up.
Yeah.
Question, James?
Yeah.
So
Question.
Joey just said an important thing, I think, about the need for education. Swanton is not the only town to have social justice problems. Practically every town in Franklin County does. And most every town in Franklin County has some kind of educational component going on, or committees that are looking to form to do some education around social justice. And I'm wondering if you would recommend something like that, Joey, or if there is something in the works that we don't know about.
There's nothing in the works that I'm currently aware of. Obviously, social justice is something that I think every community needs. What the best program, what the best delivery model is, those are areas that I don't have the answers for. And unfortunately, with this case, it's more than just social justice. And this is unfortunately a young man that literally didn't understand what a swastika was.
Yeah.
So he, didn't understand or comprehend what he was doing. He thought it was being funny because he literally saw those things on TV on a news article. So he was repeating that same kind of behavior out in the public.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, social justice and those types of reforms are needed in most communities. But what the best model, what the delivery is, those things I don't have the answers.
So there's tons of information out there of who to contact and what's going on in different towns and in different communities. And
Sandy, if something more you want to talk about, we can put it on the agenda for another meeting too, if you want to add more about that.
I'd like to hear from you folks about maybe something that you're going to have going on. I bring it up very often, as you know, and after reading tonight's paper,
Yeah.
here I am again. Thank you.
Okay.
It would be worth finding out what other communities are doing.
Thanks,
Yeah.
And I'm happy
No,
to
that's
look
fine.
into
I'm
it
just
as well.
saying that we can put it
Yeah,
on the next
right,
agenda.
right.
It's, that discussion's not on our agenda tonight. Not that I'm trying to
Yeah.
bounce around it or anything. Is
Yeah,
We
I
try to
agree.
stay on
I
track,
agree
that's all.
that,
Yeah.
it probably needs a little more time to discuss than we have available tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a lengthy discussion.
Yeah.
With your agenda tonight would be.
Yeah. You're all night.
Chief, the only thing I got for you, can you speak on where you guys are at all, if anywhere, on the rational burglaries down BP or South River, anywhere, and made any head?
So there's been a lot of headway made in the vehicles that have been entered in that area. There is one prime suspect. That prime suspect's got at least 3 arrest warrants out currently for him. I think there's going to be enough for the 4th arrest warrant for those burglaries. It's been a joint effort between 2 of our officers and 2 of the state police troopers. So they've pretty much identified who it is, and they're just trying to put the final pieces on that. And he is currently got some arrest warrants. As soon as he's found, he'll be arrested, and most likely for some of those. We can't pin him to all of them, but we're pretty sure it's him that did all of them.
I just thought it was important if there was, for the public to hear it, certainly. I know you guys are
The
working
thing that
on it.
I'll reiterate, and I reiterate a lot about thefts out of automobiles, is regardless of where you live and where you park, we lock your vehicles. What we're finding is 99% of those thefts are the people who look for that crime of opportunity. The car's unlocked, there's a valuable sitting on the seat, and then you grab it and go.
Yeah. Easy access.
Thank
They don't
you.
want to smash windows because they don't want to get caught.
Thank you.
All right. Health officer report.
So, what I've worked on mostly for the last month was some trash complaints. All but one of those have been resolved currently. I'm working with a homeowner that just isn't seeing the big picture, that he's got to get rid of his trash. The big one that I keep having a recurring problem with as you all know, is 45 First Street.
Yep.
And the landlord there has been very, very cooperative, but in 3 months, he's lugged out 5 dumpster loads of trash. Literally the problem that I'm trying to figure out if there's a crime that we can charge with, and working with the state's attorney, is the tenant there literally is having all his friends come over and just throw their trash,
Yeah.
just to piss off his landlord.
Yeah. Great.
And then the trash builds up, fills up the garage, and spills out to the street.
Yeah.
The landlord has to come in with a crew to clean it up.
Crazy.
I would assume that the landlord is taking legal action for eviction.
He's been trying for a year now, but the problem is that the moratorium for evictions has been pushed back to October, and that's looking like it's going to get extended again.
That's ridiculous.
So it's got a court case there. It's just nobody's hearing it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the sad thing, because that landlord hasn't been paid in over a year for rent, and
It's crazy.
It's just costing them every day.
Yep. Yep. He's got no choice but to pay to clean it up.
and he's being responsible in cleaning it up.
Mhm.
And,
Yep.
I mean, we saw some pictures from earlier in the summer where there was just a mountain
Mhm.
of trash. And
Yep.
that mountain of trash has been removed now 40 times
Yep.
in a very short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
No two people create that much trash in
No.
a month.
Yeah.
So,
No, it's crazy. Okay. All
a
right.
couple of animal bites that
Mhm.
one that I finished working up today.
Yep.
From known dogs to the known individuals, so they've been pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
There's no laws, because you could say this is a public health issue that they're creating. There's no citation, nothing in the statutes about that.
So, as far as the trash is concerned, if the landlord didn't clean it up, from a public health standpoint, we could fine the landlord. We can't actually fine the tenant.
You can't find the person that's responsible for doing it.
Yeah.
No, it's the landlord that's responsible on a rental. It's a poorly written piece of statute, and the landlord is, the one that's suffering for it. And like I said, we call him up saying, hey, the garage is full of trash and it smells again. Within a couple of days, he's got one of the trash haulers dumping a dumpster, and he's got a crew cleaning it out.
Yeah.
So he's been very diligent about it. I think he's into about $2,000 just removing trash in the last
easy.
3.
Yeah.
I have the actual figure because we've been working with them to see if we can do a theft of service case, but
Yeah.
There's some seats up here in the front if anyone wants to sit up here.
Yep.
Yep. All right. I think that's it. Anything else?
The only other one, actually health one, I've got is got a gentleman complaining about the water quality. I think most of you are familiar with the water quality of Lake Champlain down at the beach. And I just got some answers from the state, and he wanted soil samples and stuff done. That's not the town health officer's responsibility. That's ANR's responsibility.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I've sent him an email tonight saying that we're not going to, as a town, we're not going to collect samples, and
Yep.
because they basically, I was told if we did collect them, it was all going to be our responsibility for payment of the sampling and
Yep.
stuff like that. So
Yep.
that email was sent just before I came over here, that I am not going to go collect samples.
No.
Nor is the town going to
No.
pay the expense to sample that when we already know there's blue-green algae and those other things
Exactly.
there.
Yeah.
The state's already identified that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. All right then. Newtown business presentation by V-Trans Ken. How do you pronounce your last name? Upmall. Upmall. Okay. Project director for Route 78 reconstruction plan. By the looks, I hope you're ready to answer a lot of questions. Where do you want to sit? You can sit right
I
there.
can stand.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Okay. So, my name's Ken Upmall, and I manage the roadway design section for the Vermont Agency of Transportation. I've been there for some 18 years in that job. Been with the agency for 28 years. And I'm actually getting ready to retire. And I got about 13 months left. I brought somebody with me tonight. Casey, why don't you stand up and let's introduce you. This is Casey Leach.
Welcome.
He's a senior engineer that works for me, and he will most likely be assuming my project manager duties upon my retirement. So, but I'm going to carry this project through until that point. I've worked on this project for a number of years. I actually had it for a short period, maybe 15 years ago, transfers back and forth. I reassumed duties on this project about 10 years ago. I'm not going to bore you with everything in the past, just going to give you a few little highlights. People ask me in everything that we do every day, why does it take so long? And the design doesn't take long. The biggest things for us is environmental permitting, utility coordination, relocation, and right of way. Those are the things that take all our time. And if anybody out there is wondering why have you been doing this for the last so many years, well, I've spent the last 2.5 years working with the National Wildlife Refuge, coordinating their needs and concerns. The National Wildlife Refuge, unlike everybody else, we cannot condemn. It belongs to the Department of the Interior, and you cannot condemn the federal government. So we've got to go through a whole bunch of iterative meetings and requirements there that we've addressed, and we're still working. I'm working with Ken Sturm on potential land mitigation, which is probably going to be a requirement where we have to go actually purchase some land adjacent to the refuge to mitigate any and all impacts to the property that we are impacting. Don't want to bore you, but I'm just going to take a couple seconds here. About 5 or 6 years ago, when I looked into this, I managed the Shalat US 7 reconstruction project. I've done a lot of the bigger highway reconstructions in the state of Vermont. And I looked at that project, and it was a funky design. They were going to try to save the slabs and do this and that, and it was what I would call, it wasn't what I believe was the most responsible design at that point. And I went to the director and I said, it was $8.5 million, and I said, well, why don't we spend $12 million and reconstruct the whole highway and build you what I call a 100-year road. Typically, when we build a highway and a sub-base, the roadbed structure, it's 50-year design, pavement lasts 25. But when you build a road, 24 inches dense graded crushed stone, 12 inches of sand barrow for frost protection, 10 inches of pavement, and you get the water out of it, it's a 100-year road. I looked at this project. This project runs from a point just this side of the fish access, not Louis Landing, but the fish access by the big bridge. You'll see where the pavement narrows. That's where the project starts. And it runs all the way to the village line. And my counterpart, who ran the pavement management section, we went around and around and around. This project went through all kinds of iterations. They were going to build a land bridge for all the critters to go under. And they were going to do all these different things. And we really went around and around and came to a practical solution. And then it actually came all the way back to a reclaim because of all the sensitivity of all the resources. Well, I looked at that, and we have to maintain traffic. So in order to maintain traffic, you have to widen the road on one side, push the traffic over, build what you can, a little more than half, push the traffic back, rebuild the other side. And we evaluated all the cross sections and figured out that if we dig up another 30% of the soil that's left there, we get a brand new road. Why are we gonna piecemeal this? Let's do a full depth reconstruction and build the whole thing. Now that was a decision was made about 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. And I got convinced the upper management of the agency to go along with it, and we went with it. So, full depth reconstruction from the beginning of the project, down by the bridge, all the way to Louis Landing. Louis Landing, the typical gets a little narrower. When I say typical section, what I mean is the width of the roadway, the travelways, and the shoulders. The road will be 12-foot lanes and 6-foot shoulders from the beginning of the project to Louis Landing. 400 feet each side of Tabor Road, there will be an 8-foot shoulder because of the Tabor Road intersection. But you got, it's what I call a 6-12-12-6. It'll be 8-12-12-8, 400 feet each side of Tabor Road, and then back to a 6-12-12-6 to Louis Landing. Okay, that was the full depth reconstruction. From that point, we still maintain a 6-12-12-6 all the way Bobby Road, Bob and something Road, I can't remember. And at that point, we go to an 4-11-11-4 for the very end of the project, because everything's so confined with the houses and everything. Okay, so that's the width of the highway. There was all kinds of archaeological sensitivity along that whole section. I don't even want to tell you how much money we spent on this, on the investigations. You probably saw 3 or 4 years ago, we had a phase 3 with the University of Maine out there. And we did all this work on the archaeology, and I looked at the typical section, and I looked at the reclaim, and because we've had recent initiatives in the pavement management section, it's all about classification. If you classify it as full depth reconstruction, you have these environmental requirements. But pavement management has been coming in lately in these places where they're pulling out the slabs. You see it across the state. You can't leave the slabs in there. They pull the slabs out, and they actually put dense graded crushed stone in, maybe some geotextile, and then the pavement. So it's really not a reclaim. A reclaim might last you 15, 20 years. We looked at this. I'm going to get right out of this as soon as quickly. I didn't want to bore you folks here, but just wanted to tell you. We looked at this, worked with the archaeologist about the depth that we could go down, worked with the lab and the geotechnical folks, and came up with a hybrid model for that section. So instead of a reclaim, which is they go through, they plane off 2 or 3 inches of pavement, then they go through and they grind out all the other pavement down into the subbase to make your base a little firmer. Then they come in, add a little more stuff, and pave over it. No, that was going to cause even more problems for traffic management, which I'll get into quickly. But we are going to do the hybrid. We're going to put 18 inches of dense graded crushed stone in there. We're just going to reconstruct it. It's not a full depth reconstruction, because that would have 12 or 24 inches of sandbar for frost protection. But we are going to rebuild the roadway, you could say. It's not classified as a full depth reconstruction. And this might not mean anything for anybody right now, but in the interest of the town, this is fantastic, because I'm going to build you a 50-year road. Okay, it's going to last 50 years. So, we're going to put 18 inches of dense graded crushed stone. We're going to build it. It's going to be easier for traffic control. We're going to build it. I'm going to touch on traffic control real quick, and then I'm going to tell you about schedule and where we're at and where we're going. It's going to be a very sour pill to swallow. We are going to limit the construction zones. And of course, who here has driven through a construction zone this summer that was too damn long? And when it's too damn long, you get big queues and you get big delays. We are probably going to limit construction zones to no more than 800 feet. Now, I'm just pushing that out there tonight. I'm not holding to that. But I want to shrink the construction zones because we're going to have one-way alternating traffic. You have to. There's no room to put a 2-way detour through the wildlife refuge and through that archaeological sensitive area. It is what it is, what it is. And then at nighttime, we'll have signals on each side, and there'll be the alternating signals, and we will monitor the construction zones for their length and bob and weave as we go and make it work. But I don't want anybody having, I don't want people having expectations that there's going to be a 2-way detour through the construction zone, because there's just no room.
Yeah.
So that's traffic management. We'll get through it. Where are we? We've been working on, as long as this project's been around and is extensive, these are what we call legacy projects at the agency, and that's kind of like my personal legacy, because my legacy is that I've built all these legacy jobs in the last 18 years. And I've only got like 3 or 4 more. And so they're coming to an end, and we're not gonna program, I don't foresee programming linear highway reconstructions because it's just too much effort and it's too expensive. We are in right-of-way right now. We actually have about 80% of the draft right-of-way plans done. That's what we've been doing for the last year. Now, we plan to build this job in 2024. Now, some people say, 2024, that's 3 more years. That's tomorrow. In my world, that is tomorrow. We are there. We're not there. Let me just explain a few challenges here. We draft the right-of-way plans. Still working with the refuge. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We draft the right-of-way plans. We probably will have those completed early winter. Then what we have to do is our right-of-way document sections drafts the legal descriptions. So all those indexed easements all have to be described. Then we have to perform valuations. We're lucky on this because there's not an overly large amount of commercial property. If you have commercial properties, you have to do full-fledged appraisals, and they take months. Most of these are going to be what we call waiver valuations. Federal Highway lets us come through and do minor waiver valuations up to 10,000 and moderates up to 25. So we have people in our right-of-way office who will value these easements quickly and efficiently. Now, there's gonna be some appraisals, maybe, I don't know, there may be some appraisals, but as the waiver valuations come through, we won't wait. I've got probably 64 properties. I thought I had 56. I think last week in a meeting, they told me I had 62 or 64. That's a lot of properties. That's an incredible load of work. As we draft evaluations, we won't wait until we've got all evaluations done and then start negotiations. As the evaluations come through, we'll be initiating negotiations concurrent with the production of the evaluations. We're going to have concurrent activities. And so we will negotiate with the parties. Anybody that owns property out there, a right-of-way agent will contact them. They'll send them the plans, they'll send them an offer, and they will enter into negotiations. And I don't get involved in negotiations as legal. It's up to the people to try to reach what they believe is a fair settlement for those rights. We will negotiate for a period of time. Always happens. People don't sign. At some point, you gotta stop. And then we schedule necessity, or we schedule condemnation, which I'm not sure this is gonna be a minor alterations or a full-fledged thing in the district court, a necessity hearing. But we will enter into necessity. And that takes time. And Casey and I have been very successful on these projects avoiding necessity. I had 56 parcels in Charlotte. I had one person from California who never came home go to necessity against us. I did Waterbury Main Street. I had 122 parcels. Maybe it was 102 parcels. I had one person that challenged us in minor alterations. So the better job that we do explaining what has gone on, what we intend to do, and the better job we do at appeasing the property owners, which we've done, and the better job and the more efficient and effective we are at negotiations and settlement, hopefully we can avoid that. Now, I went and met with every property owner that would meet with me. Those that didn't, we sent certified mailings to, and some signed them, some did not. Okay? Some people didn't, I actually had some people sign them, and then lately they've been calling and saying they never were contacted. Now, if anybody hasn't been, if anybody, or you know anybody that says they've never been contacted, I'm gonna leave my card with the select board here, and they should contact me via email, okay? Okay, so, now, we'll enter into negotiations, we'll enter into condemnation, we'll go to court, we'll probably go to court, maybe we'll go to court, hopefully we won't go to court. We go through that, get a positive ruling, I get a right-of-way clear, I can build the project in a year. We've got to get, it takes about a year to put together all the final plans and contract plans. This is a really big, this is, I'm not gonna say how many millions of dollars this project is here tonight in this forum, but it's millions and millions of dollars. And it's a massive project, and we gotta get it all put together by a Thanksgiving in order to start building in April. I'm hoping to build in 2024. I'm not gonna promise it. We go to necessity and somebody appeals it, that shoots that out the door. But what I'd emphasize tonight is the schedule is to begin construction in 2024, 2-year project. We have come a long ways. I'm very proud of the engineering and the design that we've done to make this project a real adequate new highway. And in the big scheme of things, we are there. As I said, people say 2024. In my world, I'm there. And of course, my emphasis is for me to get this thing through right away. Because if I can get it through right away, I can give it to Casey. He puts together the final and contract plans and puts it out. Then he's got to deal with all the construction problems. But, you know, that's the story. We got a great highway here. We've come a long ways. We got to get through the refuge on some final things. We got to go through the right-of-way process. Right-of-way is about a 2-year process. And then we'll get this road built, and I think it'll be a great thing for the whole region as a whole. So that was pretty quick. I think that gives a real good picture of my world and what your expectations should be. So with that, I'm here to answer any questions or set up times to talk with anybody to address things in more detail. And before I forget, I'm going to leave a couple of my cards here. I'd ask that the select board keep these instead of people taking them. Who's the chair of the select board? Okay, I'm going to give you that. And I'm going to leave 3 more here for other select board people.
David, yeah.
And so I'm really optimistic. I'm tired. I've been working on this project for years and years. It's a very tiring process. But I can stand up here tonight with a smile, knowing that we're here, and I'm very proud to know that when I step off this train here in the not so dear future, I'm very proud of what myself and my staff have accomplished, because this is a reality now, folks. You know, and I couldn't say that 3 years ago. It's not like I don't have a bunch of hoops still I gotta jump through. I got a whole bunch of hoops to jump through. But come a long ways, and I just want to emphasize that optimism. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any simple questions.
Does anyone on the board want to speak first before then we open up the floor? Any
I just
questions?
think this is obviously big to all of us in the community, and even areas outside of Swanton alone. This has been a long, long time coming.
Absolutely.
The concerns from safety to traffic, you name it. Reality is going to be huge when we see it. I think it plays a vital role in our community with tourism and everything.
I'll mention one thing I forgot to mention. District went in from the sinkholes, did a real quick retrofit to the Charcoal Creek box culvert. That thing will last until I get there and build a new one. I'll build a new one with wing walls. And I got another positive thing I almost forgot to mention. My program manager notified me this afternoon, there's going to be a pavement resurfacing project coming through next summer within my project limits. I don't know, I didn't get in touch with the head of pavement today, but they're going to be doing some resurfacing there next summer in the interim.
Okay.
So I know that somebody had asked about that,
On 78, you're talking about?
Yep,
Yeah.
there is, we do have some work programmed for next summer
Yeah.
for some
Because they're
resurfacing.
paving Route 7 also next year.
I'm not sure about that, I can't address that, but there is gonna be, I don't know exactly what the limits are, but there is gonna be some resurfacing on 78 next summer to get you through to there, so that's positive.
And I
No.
agree with you on it. I work for Swanton Village, and I just got a email from a gentleman for utilities for resurfacing for the
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah.
So that's good, that's good news. So, I come tonight with a lot of good news. But, it's still got 3 years.
Well, it's been 20 years, so 3 more isn't gonna hurt, so.
Now, I got a
but-
question for you. Like I said, I work for Swanton Village Public Works. I got water, I got hydrants, we have utility poles in the area. Is somebody gonna get in touch with us and let us know what we have for a time frame to move things? I got curb stops on the side of the road, I got 2 hydrants that have to be moved, we have telephone poles, I got valves.
That should all be incorporated into our project if it's within the state highway right away. And this is not village, this is the state, this is beyond the village line.
Right,
Because our project stops at the
right,
village
but
line.
I got water and I still have hydrants that go into the
To go
town.
into the town.
That should all be incorporated in our project and
So they're gonna take care of all
yes,
those
that should
hydrants
be,
and everything?
yes.
Okay,
Because it's in our right of way. But
okay,
Casey will check on that,
okay.
okay? We'll coordinate that.
Okay. I just didn't want someone to come at last minute and say, hey, you gotta move this, you gotta move that, and you got that, because I have to put my stuff into the budget.
Yeah. Well, when they go through the reclaim, they take care of that. That's all
Yeah.
figured, those items are all figured into the contract.
Should be all their dollar, yeah.
Yeah. And also, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Also, I just bought a home, so I'll grab your card. I'm also on 78.
Okay?
So I'll get your card.
Email me.
I'll email
That's,
you.
that office number, I haven't been to the office in a year and a half.
Yeah.
So I'm not in the office and I'm probably not going back.
So if I leave you a voicemail, you won't get it.
No, and people, my phone isn't even set up because for getting calls, so if anybody needs to reach me, if you call me on my cell phone, I will return your call that day. I don't have an answering machine set up on that phone, but if you email me, I'll get back to you and address your issues and concerns.
Mine was kind of going with his. I just bought a house on 78 last year, so I've never been approached by anybody yet.
Yep.
So I think I can just email you. You're right in the.
Email me.
You're right in the V-Trans.
Yeah, and
I work for V-Trans, so I could just find you in the.
yep, and
directory email.
we'll come. Deer season's coming. It's pretty close. We don't do much after that. But if you want to meet, we'll try to meet before Thanksgiving or that week, whatever.
Perfect.
Okay. Sir.
Okay, I have a home on 78.
Can you state your name, sir, for the record?
Oh, Gerald Rose,
Thank you.
yeah, 330 North River Street. My concern is the elevation of the road. Will the elevation of the road change? Because we look at that as flood relief for us.
So I don't know what your home is, so I can't address that. So you've got to write me. You've got to give me your address. Write me an email. Give me your address.
And the river.
What's that?
It's in between the road and the river.
But I can't, the elevation of the highway isn't the same difference from the existing roadway throughout the whole thing. It varies. I mean, we've got new control new vertical alignment for the whole project. So in some areas, we've raised it, in some areas, we've lowered it. But, I've dealt with the Youngs, they had big questions about.
Same area.
Same area, so we're raising that highway.
You're raising it?
Yes,
How much?
4 inches.
So that highway will still be prone to flooding.
Pardon me?
Flooding.
It'll
It'll still be
to
prone to
flooding.
it.
Yes.
So
That was one of my questions.
Well, there was a big question about the river. I worked with the Youngs on this, closely with this, and I did a little research. They say the bladder went out on the dam above that winter. They had all kinds of problems there. And different sources indicated that that was the reason that happened that summer, that winter, was because that bladder had failed and had not been replaced.
Excuse me, I was told in the previous correspondence that they had to be posts, that the maximum would be 2 inches. That's what I was told. I have that in writing,
Okay, so you can show me that.
2 inches is fine, from my perspective.
I would suggest that you email me and that we
Okay.
have direct discussions.
Do I have your email address? Is that on
It's
here?
right here on these cards.
Okay. I have one of those cards there.
Yeah, you can have one. I'll put just a couple more. I don't have many of them.
I will share the information publicly so everybody can have it.
Sure, we can do that. David
I
can
will do
make
that for
copies
you,
of
sir.
those too.
Great.
Yeah, can you
But
put it
But
on
I'll be glad to meet with you.
the Swanton Facebook page?
Mhm. What's that?
Put it on the Swanton Facebook page.
His number?
I would prefer you
His
to not,
email.
I was just gonna say
not put my name on Facebook.
No, I'm probably
I
not a
don't do
good.
Facebook.
Well, I don't either, but everybody else does.
Town website.
If anyone wants his number and doesn't have it, you can contact David and he'll get you his number. As simple as that. Yeah, that'll be as
Just
simple as
give me
that. He'll get you his
email
email
me.
and.
I'll be glad to meet with you. It's no problem.
But you have to be aware that that was not the only time in the last 25 years that road was shut down.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if it's gonna happen more, but
Well, we
it's
were-
happened more than once.
We worked with, I worked closely with Dave Blackmore and his people, trying to, and the district came through and said, Kenny, you gotta raise that road in those areas. You gotta raise it in certain areas. So we went through an extensive evaluation of those things. We did some slight modifications. And so, I'm not saying that profile is gonna satisfy every abutter along the corridor, because that may not be the case. But we've done our best job to find the best compromise that satisfies the area as a whole, so, but I'll meet anybody, okay? And we can
Well,
see.
it's always been a concern of the landowners in the area about building the road higher, causing more damage to their property. And there's no way around that. So you're saying you're only raising the road 4 inches through that flat stretch.
I recall that around the Young's property, but.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, yeah, it would be about right where the Young's property starts. After you go around that little corner and then you go down. And that goes all the way past the former refuge you're talking. So you're not raising the road very much anywheres along the entire route then.
No, I don't think so. I don't have the profiles in front of me, so.
I mean, it is a concern of them people that live there, and if you got a design at some point in time, I'm sure they're gonna be very interested in seeing
Well,
it.
the thing is people on the right side of the road.
They don't,
they
yeah,
have
they
a
want
different
to, I
concern.
know.
So, I can't satisfy everybody.
I understand that.
And,
I really understand the
we've done our best.
situation you're in.
But I've worked, my primary concern, I'm concerned about all the abutters, but I have to address the primary concerns of the district. Because they're the people that maintain the road.
Well, are they saying that road needs to be flood-proof?
No, they're saying that it needs to be raised in some areas to
So,
prevent flooding.
at some time here in the near future, would we have an idea where those areas are?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Now, who's your public works guy? Reg Bellevue?
Well,
No.
he's the village.
Town, that's village.
manager.
We have town.
So I work closely with Reg, and if, I guess what I would ask is have your town engineer or your public works director contact me.
We have town. I'm the road commissioner. And
Okay, well, we
we
can
have a
discuss
highway.
that at your convenience.
Okay.
Yeah, just so that, if you got a diagram or something that he can bring that, we could look at this,
Yeah.
so we know,
Sure.
And the other thing I wanna bring up, and I'm sure you're aware of it, where that culvert you replaced, that's a very popular fishing area.
Yeah.
So that culvert will have, I think a 4 or 5 foot pathway behind the guardrail across it.
So you're taking into account, and that
And we-
tradition, I should say, will be able to continue.
And we're purchasing a piece of property, the property owner, we're gonna move his fence back on that corner and provide a larger area that will actually belong to the state, so people can put their canoes in.
All
So
right,
we're
that's good.
advancing that.
I mean, it is very popular
And I've
area.
actually thought about putting some square block stones stacked up around the faces of those wing walls for a fish habitat. So,
So you're gonna take into account, you need some room for people that like to fish.
yes. I gotta deal with fish and wildlife.
Is there
They're as
any,
hard as the Army Corps of Engineers, so.
is there any thought of parking in that area?
Same parking that's there now.
Same parking area, nothing to do with that
No.
in the plan. Okay. Just thinking of that.
Yeah, same as it is.
Yeah.
We really couldn't expand it,
No, there's not much room there, no.
so,
No, there's ways you could,
Yeah.
you can say, can't always say never.
No,
And it may be something that, I mean, it is a popular area.
Yeah.
That's,
so we're gonna make it better. We're gonna make it better than it is.
sounds good.
Okay?
yeah, we'd like to look at that too.
Certainly.
I got another question.
Question, any more questions?
Friday afternoon on that highway, they're going about 70 miles an hour down through there now. You're gonna make it wider, you're not gonna slow them down. It's hard to get out of the driveways and everything else down there.
So from a design perspective, I'm not dodging your question, but that's really an issue of law enforcement.
You don't see, that's state highway, you don't see a state officer down there.
Well, the sheriffs and the state police, I'm not speaking for them. I get this question all the time. I'm making the road better. That road is another fatality waiting to happen.
Absolutely.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
so we're making it better. I'm not dismissing your comment, but of course people are gonna say, people are gonna go faster. Well, I can't control how fast people drive.
Why don't you put a lower speed limit in?
Well, here's the deal. Okay,
There's a process.
people ask me
There's a whole
this.
process for that.
There's a process, but
Yeah,
it's not that arduous.
yeah.
The select board has to make a request
Yeah.
to the traffic committee, which is the DMV commissioner, secretary of the agency of transportation, and one other person, and you can do it.
Yeah.
That can be done. It just needs to be, that needs to be done through the select board. So,
Thank you for answering that.
What is it now, 50?
Must be 50.
You're not gonna lower that speed limit on that.
I doubt it on that
It's not
busy
gonna make a
road.
difference if you lower it or not.
No.
You've already talked about it, it's not gonna be, they're not gonna be enforced anyway, so you can put it down to 35, if you don't mind, nobody's enforcing it, what difference is it?
well, it needs enforcement. I mean, and there's all kinds of, we've got thousands of miles of state highway out there, and,
Yeah,
enforcement's an issue, but
no, it's not.
I'm not dodging the question,
Yeah.
but I'm
That's not what Ken's here for. Ken's here
I'm a
for
highway designer.
designer, yeah.
And that's, I designed the highway.
Hold on, guys,
to be
guys,
safe.
Guys.
one at a time, please.
Anybody else?
Sure. We last spoke, I'm Jeanette Young,
Yeah.
59 North River. We last spoke around 2 years ago, and I haven't seen or heard anything from anyone except what I read in the paper.
Okay, Jeanette,
I've gotten a
I
lot-
got your contact information. I thought the last time we met, we had resolved all the issues.
You had talked about some different things with her, yes.
Yes, and I
haven't got to that.
had said,
You
well,
haven't got to that.
I may not have come back and shown you, but I addressed all the issues, but I will contact you again in the next few weeks, and we'll confirm what we were doing. It was my understanding that we had resolved all those issues.
No, you said we would talk about it.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, he had, I think, what he's saying, he hasn't got to the negotiation part yet, he's not even at that part.
Well, that's money. And I don't get involved with money. Okay? But I was pretty sure that I took your concerns and we made plan modifications to your property. So I'm pretty sure I did address all your concerns. However, I may not have got back to you and discussed those, okay? So I will do that, okay?
What's your name, sir?
Tom Collins.
Sir, in the back.
Are you putting culverts in? For,
Yes.
For the relief when
All new culverts.
There's no culverts there now.
Where?
Where, from Young's down through, there's any culverts across that road.
I'm not saying we're putting culverts in there. I don't know. I don't have the plans in front of me, and I don't know every detail to this project standing up here tonight. But
You're gonna replace existing
all new
culverts
drainage,
that
all
there
new
now. I would
drainage
assume.
infrastructure everywhere.
That's right.
All new
All-
pipes.
Yeah.
I mean, we're building a brand new highway.
New guardrails, whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else, any other questions for Ken?
I have let me just speak up for a second. I have a concern, it's a current concern, and that's the bicyclist on Route 78. No shoulders.
They're gonna have 6-foot shoulder in the future.
Yeah, I know, but currently they don't. You know,
Yeah.
It's not a good situation.
No, it's a very hazardous section of highway.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Yeah.
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 And we're well aware of that. And that really is one of the primary things that has promoted this whole project.
Mhm.
So,
Well, it's good that we're past the point of how important this roadway is, and that all this effort's been made to get this done, and I understand the process is, you know, is frustrating. You must have a tremendous amount of patience. The community has had a tremendous amount of patience.
the older
too.
you get, the less patience you
Yeah.
have.
But it's moving forward, you know, I think showing us the design, I mean, you know, it's something that we need, people would like to see. I mean, just, it's gonna ease a lot of concerns, and there may be some things brought up in this process that didn't realize existed, and you could make some changes before it actually gets finalized.
It's possible we can make some minor modifications to the plan, but this is not the time to redesign the road.
Right, we're not talking necessarily redesigning, but just,
Jeanette, you had a question?
I'm just wondering if the S curve is gonna disappear.
Where is that?
Right past
By
Louis Landing.
Louis Landing.
We're pretty much on alignment.
Yeah.
With all that sensitivity of the wildlife refuge,
You need much more into it.
we had to minimize all of our impacts, and believe me, that was quite a challenge.
So that does slow the traffic down there as well,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah.
So call me, or don't call me, email me, Jeanette, I'll talk to you again. I'm confident that I addressed the concerns. And I'm sure you're aware I never misled you, but I may not have come back and seen you. That may have happened. But I was pretty sure that we had made all those plan modifications in accordance with our discussions.
Okay, you say so.
I'll make it. I will call you. You don't need to email me.
Okay.
I got your contact information in my files. Everybody good?
Everybody else good? Thank you, Ken, for coming
Thank
out.
you.
Appreciate
Thank
your
you, Joe.
information. Have a good night. All right, folks.
Wait, where am I going?
You don't want to leave? You don't want to stay for the rest of the meeting? Come on.
Did everybody that's leaving sign in?
Yep. Have a good night, folks. Thanks for coming.
thanks for coming.
I'll give it a second here for the crowd to clear out. I hear something.
I put it on here.
We just barely got it. We're gonna make some signs up, get them around.
I'll clear the crowd out. Next item under new town business, approve and sign the letter of support for Higa Economic Adjustment Act grant for Dave. Is that something you put in there? For?
Yeah, this is
What's this for?
a letter of support I wrote for Heidi's grant application for the board to sign.
Okay,
Similar to one that was done a couple of years ago.
okay.
Same project, with different money.
No, I should look at the first basic there. How you doing, Gordon? Discuss Maple Grove Estate speed limit, page 8.
Make a motion, well, it's already approved.
We got people on Zoom.
On Zoom, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, let me get to my page and then we'll get there.
Information came in late this afternoon,
What information? What's in here?
what they sent in and what they were asking for.
Okay.
We're gonna get Ed on there. Gonna go back the other way.
Yeah, answer this one.
So we're going to have, Angela, you're gonna speak, right?
I'm sorry, I mentioned the Maple Grove piece, and it's hard to hear, I couldn't understand.
Yeah, you, Angela and, I don't know, the other Key Arnold, you two are speaking from Maple Grove, correct?
Correct. My name is Patty Arnold.
Thank you.
And my name is Angela Gadet.
Okay. You hear that okay, Amy?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna let Patty take the reins on this. I just helped her out with this on these things, and so if you need anything, I'm gonna let her take the reins. Okay, thank you, Angela. And good evening, everyone. My name is Patty Arnold, and I'm a resident at Maple Grove Estates, and I'm supposed to be the spokesperson for the residents here at Maple Grove. We we're meeting out some other things as a community, a neighborhood community, and one of the pieces that the topics of conversation was the speed at which vehicles were going up and down the road, cars, there's a lot of construction trucks, and so we got to talking as a community if we could have the speed limit reviewed.
Lost her. She muted.
Can't hear you.
I don't know what happened to her, she's not moving.
What happened
She's
to her?
talking,
Might be
but I can hear her.
connectivity on her end.
Yeah.
What about if,
Internet connection is unstable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
losing that connection.
I'm hearing you, can you hear me?
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
And I know Patty has some of the other things that I don't have, but I know what she was saying is that several of us in the community have met. There's certain sections the town has, is the first section that is, what do I want to say here?
The town maintains the first section of the Maple Grove Estates, that's it.
Correct.
The rest is private.
Correct.
So we have several vehicles, construction vehicles, UPS, FedEx, other vehicles that come up here that have been excessive speed. Our current speed limit is 30. The other speed limit I know, which is a private, is 25. As members, we are asking to have it lowered. We have several children in the community. There's 14 children.
Angela, can I jump in? Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
You can.
Okay, perfect. Angela, can I jump in? Yes. Okay, perfect. Okay, and I hope you guys don't think I'm being bothered with Angela. I've got all the data in front of me and she doesn't, and she's pretty super, so I apologize for the technical difficulty. Picking up what Angela said, the town, the road where the Swanton maintains for us, which by the way, there isn't one person in this allotment that isn't like grateful for the way you maintain the road, your snow plowing, the way you clean up in the spring. You guys just do a phenomenal job, and we're very, very grateful for that.
Thank you.
But so, like, we met genuinely, because it was like, wow, this is fantastic. So currently the speed limit is 30, and there's only one sign, and it's when you're leaving Maple Grove Estates. There's no speed limit sign when you're coming up into the estates. The speed limit is 30. I looked up the Vermont speed limit sign for a residential area, and the maximum speed limit is 25. Currently, just in these residents right on the strip that Swanton, the town of Swanton maintains, we have 14 children. We've really become a very active, family-oriented community. 11 of those 14 are 10 years old and younger. We have a lot of preschoolers, a lot of young children. And we just all know the importance of trying to just have a slower flow of traffic because sometimes children just are unpredictable. We also have a set of grandparents in the area, 2 on the road, but they have visiting grandparents. And so what we're asking is if you would consider, we're asking if the speed limit could be reduced to 20. If it's possible to have a speed limit sign, when you enter Maple Grove, when you're leaving Maple Grove. Can we get a children at play sign? Since we do have 14 children in the neighborhood now. The residents, we created a simple petition, and we just are asking for your support with this. The residents and all the residents of Maple Grove support the request, and so that's what we're coming to you with, just to slow things down. And I know that just putting the speed limit sign up doesn't slow traffic down, but I think, I even did some experimenting with myself. I drove up Maple 20, I drove up 25, I drove up 30. There's a substantial difference. I mean, we know that even in school zones, we ask our people that are driving through to go slower. So our request is just to slow things down a little bit, just for the safety of our children. Angela, do you have anything you want to add?
I don't, I concur with you, and I agree with you 100%. We have a tight-knit community, we're doing what we need to do, and we're very thankful again what Swanton does for us.
Thank you.
David or James, do you guys know how much of that road Swanton maintains
Just
lengthwise?
halfway up. So I don't know the full length. It's got to be maybe half a mile. It ain't very much.
Is there cul-de-sac at the end?
They're cul-de-sac.
At the end of.
Yeah, but there's more road that goes through it, but we only stop the cul-de-sac. We don't maintain beyond that. There's a bunch more houses up in there beyond
That are
that.
being built.
Yeah, and that are built.
And it sounds like most of your concerns are with construction vehicles.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't have.
It sounds like most of your concerns are from construction vehicles.
No, actually, I just.
I mean, is there a lot of other,
As well.
Okay.
It's from both, it's all traffic.
So you have a lot of other traffic up there too?
We really do. You would be extremely surprised at the amount of traffic that goes up and down, not only just the residents and the people that live back in Southwoods and Southway, but we really have a lot of traffic going up. Other than just the construction, a lot of people driving up through, looking at property. I actually made a comment yesterday, was Labor Day, and I was home, I wasn't working, and I looked at my family, I go, there's a lot of cars that go up and down our road. And they're like, there's a lot of cars that go up and down our road. So it's really busier than what you think.
And I work at home full time. I'm at home now 100%. I've been that way for the last year and a half. It has been excessive that we have a lot of traffic. I moved here 9 years ago. Yes, we have had expansions from housing, but we also have other traffic that, just like Patty said, we have all vehicles, whether it's business vehicles dropping off UPS, we have construction, we have people looking at property, we have just people, just in general, just up here wondering what's going on up here.
Well, you're saying there's no speed limit sign going into Maple Grove Estate?
Yeah.
No, there's not. There's a speed limit on Angela's side of the property when you're leaving Maple Grove Estates. There's none coming in.
Well, they must have put that one in backwards.
Must be. I don't know. I'd have to look into that. I think it's more of an enforcement thing than it is a speed thing. You can lower it to 10 miles an hour, and people are still going to drive 30 miles an hour. You know what I'm saying? I understand you want to lower the speed limit, but people are going to do what they want anyways, unless cops are there to catch them. Yeah, that's the hard part.
And I get it that enforcement needs to be up here on that, but in today's society, the way that things have been, and the way that everybody is stretched so far in enforcement, even if we have something, whether it's even reducing the speed, doing the things that we need to, I feel it's a fair thing to even be able to post something to show people that we have a speed limit. Whether it's 20, 30, whatever it is, yes, I get it that people are going to speed, they're going to do what they need to do. But it's just something that we're asking. Everybody on our street has signed a petition. We're 100% for it. I think it should be, gone through.
Well, looking out for the safety of the children, you're absolutely correct in that we can't guarantee that people are going to follow the speed limit, but we post signs as a society all over asking for, setting speed limits. We reduce the speed limit through the school zone because of children. And we're simply requesting the speed limit and a children at play sign posted so that people are just aware and they're like, oh, be mindful. There's kids at play here. I need to slow down going up over this hill. I need to slow down going up. It's just a reminder. It's a visual reminder of people that, are some people not going to pay any attention? Probably. But it would help reduce some of the speed that we're seeing now. Just the awareness that we've got children there. And it's not like we have like 2 or 4. I mean, we've got 11 kids that are 10 years and younger. And the youngest one, I believe, is less than a year old. So, we've got a lot of kids coming up and just playing out in front yards.
I don't have a problem getting another, certainly putting another speed limit sign up there, and I'm sure we can get a children at play sign to put up there. That's not a big deal. I think we should have the PD do a speed study on it first and see what. The PD can put up a device to monitor the speed limit on the road. They can take the speed and the time and the date and all that, and they keep track of it. They do a week-long study or 10-day study and see what it comes back at first. It'll tell us the speed, the average speed the cars are doing on that road. I think that's the first step. I'd like to see that first.
I would vote for a 10-day instead of just a week.
Yeah, it may be 2 weeks. I can tell them to do 2 weeks. It's fine. Usually what they do is they'll do it one direction for 10 days or whatever, then they'll do it the other direction for 10 days. So it gets the cars coming in going average, but it's not that big a road, so I would think one way would get the gist of what's going on. But we can do that. I, as the road commissioner, can look, we can get you another speed limit sign in the right direction and a children at play sign to put up there, I'm sure. So.
That'd be fantastic. That's a fantastic start. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure David has your contact information. David, you have contact information, these two ladies. So, well, we'll speak to the PD about putting the monitor up there somewhere on our section of the road, and then we'll monitor it. And once we get that study back, we'll let you guys come. We'll have another meeting and see what it says. So you guys can see what the study says. So, and then we can go from there. I think that's the simplest bet. So,
should the board make a motion on this?
I don't think we need a motion on it, not to just have them do the speed study. Yeah.
No, well, I think even that, but also the signs.
Yeah.
So that's in public record.
We can. It's no big deal. Yeah. I would
go
ahead.
I would make a motion that the action that we could take right off would be to first put the speed sign on the right side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
So that people entering that road know that, and we have a 30-mile-an-hour one, so we're going to use that existing one for now, till we get the speed study done, and to do a speed study, plus put up the children at play sign.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I'll second
And
that.
do the speed study. Yeah. All right. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm going to abstain from it because I live up there.
Okay, that's fine. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention, ladies. We'll be in touch.
You'll see the flashing sign up there.
Announce health officer vacancy. I guess I should have announced that.
I have it posted on the
Okay.
website. But
Yeah. I could have announced it when he was talking tonight, but.
Announce it again, and if anyone's interested.
When is the official?
Kurt, health officer, stepping down officially October 1st, right? Yeah.
And you had
So,
no responses yet?
We just barely put it out. We just got it last week or something.
Qualifications on that.
It's posted.
I was gonna say it's probably posted.
Go on the website, you can look at a link, and it's a state law that lists what the health officer should be responsible for. It's actually, the board here just recommends someone to the state. The state has to approve that, and then they appoint the official, the health officer. So it's a state law that describes quite a bit of what we have to do, how our health officer has to do for that job. And if you put
There's
them
quite a
on
few
the
different things it
website,
entails, so, yeah.
you know,
There's quite a few different things it entails, so, yeah.
Turn my ears up, so I can hear
Yeah, yeah, that's okay.
you. No, seriously.
No,
I had to turn my ears up to hear you.
yeah,
What's your
Okay.
name, sir?
Patrick.
Yeah.
Patrick.
yeah. Okay, we're going on that then. You've advertised it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And one person is interested.
Okay.
I know of.
All right. Yeah.
There's no official
No.
letter of interest.
Okay. Discuss new V-Trans grant.
That's just another, like we've had in the past, where they provide money to fix up ditches and so forth. And when I get more details on it, I'll make you and Kevin aware, so you
Okay.
can decide if there's any place we could use it.
We're applying for a grant, another grant then, or is
No,
it, it's
no,
already
I'm-
there?
I'm waiting to get more information on what they're gonna allow the money for. And then I'll let James and Kevin know, and they can look it over. And,
So we have the money already then?
no,
No.
Kathy's gonna tell you about the money we got from somewhere else later in the agenda, so.
Okay. All right. Discuss basement repointing project.
That was you.
That was me. I asked to have it put back on there. David's made umpteen phone calls to different masons. There's nobody that's willing to bid on the job but the only one we got. The repointing the stones. Nobody has the proper equipment to do the job. He's the only one that will do it.
And we're in desperate need of doing it.
It needs to be done.
What was the
Today our
cost of that?
insurance person was
I
here.
spoke to him about it.
Yeah, it is. I got it right here. Give me a minute. Right there's the total. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't air to get one.
Yes, I have the quote. I just didn't share it because I didn't know if we were going to get other bids. I didn't want to make it public until we were sure we were going to do that. Yeah.
We have funds available.
We have funds.
Will insurance cover any of it?
No.
No, I don't have any insurance out of it.
Yeah, but he's also doing that room at the bottom of the stairs. He's gonna tear out, there's like some old wood wall in there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna tear out and re out to all that as
Replace.
well.
Repoint it. Yeah.
All the way around.
So that I'll announce it. The bid. It's no secret. So yeah. So that we got a bid from J&L Masonry, which they did their repointing all our bricks on the building a couple years back. The total bid for the project is $35,840, and that's repointing the whole interior basement downstairs, remortaring it, everything, with all the proper HEPA tools and equipment and ventilation system they gotta use and everything else down there.
Will that cause a closure of this building at all for any
Nope,
design?
not with this proper equipment. That's the biggest thing with it, so it's ventilated properly. So they don't
So
have to
he's gonna
sys-
ventilate it for
Out.
what he's doing, but
Yeah, yeah.
when he's done, it's gone.
Well, no, he's ventilating any dust or any particles that would ventilate out of the basement, so he doesn't
Yeah, but
affect
it wouldn't be
anybody.
there after he's done his work, or
What's not?
they were talking about about the equipment down
Well,
there.
well, no.
Oh, no, we have our electrical
We
equipment
have our
down there
electrical
for,
and phone systems.
yeah,
and
all that
immune
stuff,
systems
yeah.
down there, but
yeah,
they'll have to probably bag that.
They'll
I'm
just
sure,
cover it,
cover
yeah.
it and make sure
Yeah.
nothing gets into it.
yeah.
I'd like to see some kind of reference from somebody that he's done this kind of work for.
Yeah.
It just, I realize the fact that we haven't got other bids.
Yeah.
There's very few, limited people, but to spend that kind of money, I'd kind of like to see some kind of a reference that this guy's capable of performing that. It's not like just doing the outside bricks on our building.
Yeah.
This is extensive.
No, yeah, I mean, I've seen his work, I know he does good work, but I don't have a problem with that. He'd be glad to get his reference, I'm sure, so.
I guess this last discussion that I was involved with, there was concerns, the floor is not even cemented, right?
The what?
You got a cement floor in that side?
No. It's,
No, it's
well,
dirt.
there is,
Some
there's
is dirt.
concrete on one part,
Mhm.
and then there's dirt floor on another part.
Yeah.
And right now, we have water coming in when our insurance, is here doing this inspection. He said the wall just opened up and the water came in like someone had turned
Mhm.
on. And it came in, it comes in over in this corner here, and it comes over in the further corner. But it's getting worse instead of better. 'Cause before it was like it came in, but now it's like coming in like a river. Well, not like a river, but a stream.
Well, I'm not opposed necessarily to repointing them stones, but I don't think it's really gonna solve the problem. You know, if we got that much water coming in, then we got a drainage issue around this building that certainly needs to be looked into, and I don't know about the rest of the basement, but maybe, just repointing seems like a Band-Aid on, a Band-Aid thing. It's not a long-term solution.
Well, it's a
Someone did
long-term
some-
solution, cause you're putting the rocks back together and sealing all the cracks up.
Yeah, but if it's under that kind of stress.
Yeah, well, it may come to it, you may have to repoint the outside of the building too. You might have to excavate it and repoint all the stones on the outside.
Yeah.
You gotta do them both. You can't, you gotta at least do the inside.
I guess I'm not qualified to say anything. I'm not in the masonry business, I'm not in the foundation business. But I guess if I was gonna look at this from if it was my own personal property, I think I'd wanna get somebody in here, an engineer, somebody that's certified in this, and take a look at that and say, they may not do the work, obviously they're not gonna do the work, it'll have to probably go to the same guy, but at least they could say, look, this is what you're dealing with. You know, I hate to
This is
spend money unless, you know, that we're spending it because we think we need to do it right off, and we do, but if we're gonna spend it, let's make sure, you know, we're gonna get a return on it. If there's other issues that we need to be dealing with, then we should be planning on that too.
I agree.
And I don't know who we could get, you know, I mean, there are a lot of local engineers, I guess, there's some out in St. Albans. You know, I would prefer to do that than just go ahead and, you know, if it was $3,000, I have no problem. You're talking a sizable amount of money.
Yeah, no, it's not a simple job either.
No.
But let me put this into your perspective this way. Those rocks are our foundation. If those rocks start to deteriorate and fall apart because the mortar's not holding together, there goes our foundation.
Yeah.
So the whole purpose of repointing these rocks is to
Oh,
hold our
I
foundation.
understand all that, but if we're
Yeah.
gonna be in the same boat 2 years down the road,
I don't know.
wow, that's
I
what
mean,
I would like to know.
the mortar's gonna stay that they put in there.
You know, I'm just saying that if I was gonna do this on my own property, I would wanna make sure I'm doing it, you know, if this isn't gonna solve the problem, if it's gonna cost me 100,000 more, then you got no choice but to do it, you know?
But I think repointing the stones current, I think it's absolute necessity, and looking at water drainage is probably second part of keeping water away from the building. But to keep the building in
Yeah.
place now, I think it's something you really should consider getting done.
After talking with the insurance inspector, I also agree that it's something that needs to be done
I just hope
sooner than later.
the issues that are causing this don't cause that work to prematurely fail. That is
I
another
don't see why it
concern.
would.
Because, I mean,
Yeah.
they're not gonna guarantee their work if there's outside factors that
Well, they're gonna
are in
guarantee
play.
the work that they do,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but if it's something causes that, it's causing it now, causes it to the work he did, he's gonna say, well, it's not, my work was fine, it's, you had other things, I mean, it's a tough thing.
It
But I understand it needs to be done, but it still doesn't mean that, you know, if we could find somebody to come in here and take a look at this, you know, that we might need another solution too.
Hey, Gordon, if I may lean on you, do you have any thoughts or recommendations in the work that you've done in the last
Well,
10 years?
I'll say, boy, it's tough. It's tough to get a mason. You hit that
Yeah,
on the head.
no,
You're
absolutely.
not going to find many people to be able to
No.
do the job. But having an engineer come in, I mean, we could probably get an engineer fairly soon to take a look at what
Yeah.
Earl's saying. I don't think that's a bad idea at all.
I agree. I think
Someone-
we could get Peter Cross out of St. Albans.
Especially if there's a drainage issue, it's not
And,
gonna stop the water from coming in.
It
How
might,
quickly do you have to do how quickly does he want to do the work? Like,
Oh, well, I think we were gonna do it this fall anyways, or over winter, so, was the plan, but.
Does he have a schedule on his quote or no? No schedule?
No, I think he told me fall, so.
Fall.
Yeah.
I think, we should get in contact with Peter Cross in St. Albans, very reputable, been around
Yeah.
in the business for
Huge
many
need for
years.
this stuff, town stuff.
And it might be the best money we spent all year.
Mhm.
That's my opinion.
Was it Peter that did the work before when we looked at going upstairs? Who did the engineering for that?
He was one
I think it was Peter that did it then.
He was
Yeah.
an architect for.
Yeah,
So
architectural
So
stuff.
it's probably Peter Garso now. Peter Cross's company, Peter Garso now.
Yeah.
So, might have been
Yeah.
Garso,
Peter's completely retired?
I think. Well, I think he's still.
I think he's still in there,
No, he's still
yeah.
in here.
Yeah.
He still gets plenty of work. He still gets plenty of
Do I have
work.
a question, sir?
This is the ones he wants to do.
Ed,
Gentleman has a question.
Ed, go ahead.
One of my neighbors had an outfit from Burlington called All Things Basement.
Yeah.
I don't know how you spell that, but pronounce it. And they did a very nice job, and he's very happy. And it was an old stone wall. And, there's a story.
Food for thought.
Clark, I think his name is.
Yeah.
I mean, the other way you gotta look at this is, we're not going anywhere, this building is we're gonna keep this building, and we're gonna take care of it properly, but even if the town office is moved somewhere else, something else is gonna fit in here that, you know, I mean, it's not like we're gonna be leaving. This building's gonna stay here, it's gonna have some community use for all our lifetimes, I'm sure of that.
It doesn't hurt to have an engineer come take a look,
Yeah.
but I think the longer we procrastinate and wait, we gotta get the ball rolling.
Well, if he can't get it here till fall, I think we got time to look at it.
Well,
It's only
you gotta get on the
70%.
schedule too,
Yeah.
so. Keep kicking the can down the road, you know. So, I don't know what you wanna do.
Could
You
you,
wanna-
could you hire him contingent on the work from the, get on the guy's schedule, this contingent on any engineer evaluation, and then at least
Yep. I was gonna say you could put upon the references you request, but.
Do you think that, all right, Ed wanted to have some reference, good idea too.
Mhm.
We can contact an engineer between this meeting and our next meeting, is that, and then we can make a final decision on whether we're gonna go ahead and do the pointing anyways.
I like the sounds of that.
Doesn't matter to me,
Yep, that's fine.
whatever you guys wanna do.
And that way we could, you know, and you can contact this person and say, you know, at our next meeting, we're gonna make a final decision. So that's only a couple.
Meanwhile, we'll get the ball started,
Yeah.
tell them that the board would like to see some references
Yeah.
and go forward with other,
Yep.
And be honest with them, tell them, look, we're looking, we think there might be something else, you know, we
Yeah.
wanna make sure we're correcting the
No, and
problem.
we had that discussion, I talked about the water thing, and that's when he said, well, you may have to repoint the outside too.
Yeah.
If the water's still coming in from the
So
outside.
that's why if we get, you know,
Yeah.
somebody in here, take a look at that and say, okay, these are the things you might have to do. I mean, may
Yeah.
not be able to do it all at once this year, we may, you know, but at least we'll be planning for it in our budget for next year.
right?
If we're getting hit out of this wasn't budgeted for.
No, no, not at all, yeah. All right,
So we're gonna have David
Yeah.
get in touch with an engineer with Peter Cross's office
Yeah.
in St. Albans. See if we can get them to come down and do an inspection.
Sure.
Thank you.
all right, we're good on that. Old business, BB Road Culvert Engineer Contract.
Yeah, I left it on my desk if you want me to bring it in to the meeting. It's just a 2-page standard contract for Tyler Tillings.
You can if you want, actually, if you wanna grab that, and we'll just back it. So,
This one here, it's in our packet. There we go.
you got, there's one in there?
Oh, sorry.
Just give me a second.
Oh, we got it right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, if you are okay with it, you can just delegate me to sign it. It's similar to other
Yeah.
contracts we've had with other contractors for different projects. And it'll also include a copy of the RFP and also a copy of his response to the RFP. That those will be addendums to the contract. And I did put together a chart that was in the minutes for the last meeting that shows what each engineering firm did
Yep, I saw that.
on that, and I emailed that out to them afterwards.
Good.
Let them know that he'd have a little bit on that.
Just wait for James to return and we can make a motion.
You need board approval to sign it, or you already have it?
No, Mark's gonna make a motion to delegate me to sign it.
Contract? I thought we already voted on that a while ago.
No, you voted to award him.
Awarded the contract.
Yeah, this is,
I'll make the motion to delegate David to be the authorized signature for BB Road contract culvert.
I'll second
Need a
it.
second on that?
I'll
All right.
second.
Any other discussion? We'll wait for you to come back and vote.
I didn't realize you stepped away when I made the motion.
We're gonna wait a second to come back, it's all right. Terribly old. Roll this way, let's skip right. I got a first and a second motion Ed on the Beaver Road Culvert engineering contract to have David sign it. We're gonna vote on it. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Discuss dog ordinance provisions. Are you Mr.
Hi.
Nolan?
Yeah, I'm Mark Nolan. Thank you for putting me on the agenda again. The purpose of my discussing the ordinances of the dog ordinances is because there are 4 distinct and key failures which happened in not only policy but administration of the dog officer involving the attack I underwent on June 2nd by a pit bull that was housed at 93 Hog Island Road. So the violations that are in contrast with this bylaw is that the dog was not taken and was allowed to leave the town. It specifically says on page 271 that that's not allowed with the town bylaws. The second part of that, where it specifically says on page 11 of the town report, that no animals, the ACO does not, except dogs that are underwater riders, cats and other animals are not handled by the ACO. I want to downplay that a little bit because I think there's enough foolishness with this whole business of water and cats and everything. I don't really care about that. I think that that's just a pretty bad judgment because you can't, like, who do you pick to get a water and cats? I just think it's a joke and I don't really want to have to talk about that. Those key elements of the failure of the administration and the dog officer to execute his duties needs to be fixed. And I'm here to help. And I'm quite capable of helping. There's a couple ways we can do this. One is that the bylaw will be rewritten and it will be reconsidered at the annual town meeting. We can do this a couple of ways. One is I can partner with somebody on the board, if you so decide, to take this option, or I can do it independently. This is an open town meeting and I will certainly have every right up until the closing of the warrant to introduce articles, and I will do so if we can't establish a partnership here to fix this. So this has been several months. It's not going to go away. The problem is not going away, and it cannot, under any circumstances, happen again, ever. So I'm here and determined to make sure that does not happen again. So I would ask you to consider whether you want to partner with me on this and rewrite that bylaw. I have some experience in that area for corporate articles and things of that nature. I'm not new to town meetings either. So I can help you with that and have that language be very specific. So like I said, the key tenets of this are public safety, health, finance, and truth. And those are the 4 areas that absolutely must be addressed. This has got to be taken as a lessons learned. You can't just ignore that this happened and do nothing and get back to me just like, well, you know, he's just being a bother. Because that's how I perceive the way that we've responded to this. So that's where we're going with this. I'm hoping to be able to work with you. If you don't want to, I will work independently.
Mr. Newell, all ordinances are approved by the select board. They don't go to town meeting.
Well, they can.
Well, it depends. We have to
They've
check
always
the
been
state.
approved by the select board, so, yeah.
It is approved to be on the warrant. The select board approves it to go to the voters.
If the select board approves it to go to the voters.
You approve it for the voters. That's very distinct. That's very different.
Well, it's specified in state law how you go through the process. And the normal way is the board would discuss an ordinance, whether it's this or some other ordinance, and then either vote to approve or not approve. If it gets approved, then I think there's a 60-day period in which someone can get a petition together to have it overturned.
Yeah.
In that period. If that doesn't get overturned, then it stands.
Right.
But I don't know, there's always other things you have to look for when there's a specific process that the board has to follow.
Sure.
Whether it would be allowed to even go to a town meeting.
Well, it has to go to town meeting, if that's the law. It's not equivocal.
It's not the law.
I absolutely can do that.
Do you have your concerns in writing, that your things that you would like added to the ordinance and changed? Do you have those in writing, or?
I do,
Okay. Does David have a copy of those?
certainly.
Okay.
It needs a whole rewrite.
Yeah.
You know, my other
If you
question-
give us your concerns, and then we can
Yeah.
talk
There's-
about it.
There's all kinds of different things on it. I've
Yeah.
probably given it to you all piecemeal. I'll put it together.
Yep.
You know, the business of the fake dog rating certificate and all that is just so absurd and out of the realm. I don't even want to talk about it. It's just so stupid that it's not worth my time.
Mhm.
I want to make sure that this thing gets fixed so that it doesn't happen again. You can't let this happen to some little kid or let some rabid dog or some attacking dog go to another town and bite someone else. Easy to get it off your plate. That wasn't a good move.
So I have just one question, because you've said this numerous times at this board. This won't go away until what? Say that again?
Until it's fixed.
What's fixed? Until it gets what you want?
Policy.
Until it get what you want?
No.
That's what it sounds like when you keep saying that.
Until it gets fixed specifically.
By you?
Here's a problem.
By you?
Not by me. It can be fixed by anyone.
I just want a clear
It should be
understanding, because
fixed
you
by
keep saying it to us.
But apparently, you don't seem to be interested in fixing it.
I didn't say that, I'm just asking
Yeah.
by whom?
So if you recall, just a few minutes ago, I said I will either work with you or I will do it independently. That choice is yours. That's specifically what I said.
And that's why I asked for won't go away until what?
Until it's fixed, until it's rewritten and it has language in it that is consumable for people to understand, and that the health, safety, finance, and truth prevails in these matters. And they have not on all those 4 counts.
In your opinion?
No, absolutely unequivocally.
In your opinion?
Factually, they have not. And it's in writing, it's in the book, and it's very specific. It's not my opinion.
That's the only question I had.
Okay. Anybody else got a question for tolling, or we're good? All right. So if you could send those over to David, Mr. Nolan, that would be great. ARPA update. That's Kathy. Okay.
We just got we got the county money came in, which is not the town money, it's the county money.
Okay.
So we got another $405,866 on the right.
How much was that again?
$405,860.86.
Another? Is that on top of what we were supposed to get before?
This is the county.
Yeah, I knew.
Oh, the entire county, oh, no.
This is
Yeah, but our portion of the county.
portion of the county
Yeah.
funds.
Oh.
So they had funds for the town, funds for the village.
Yeah.
That we've gotten one installment on, and now they have county funds
Mhm.
that each town is getting. And that's our portion
Yeah.
for the town, for the county
For the
funds.
county funds.
Right.
And just to be clear, from my understanding, we got ours and the village got theirs. We don't have to pay a portion to the village, or?
Exactly, that's my understanding, because Diane said they got money too, and it wasn't the part of the original money, because that's coming later, so we got $216,000 before, we'll be getting another $216,000, but this is another $405,000, which is county money, because they had village and town money that was dispersed,
Yeah.
then they also had county money that they
Mhm.
dispersed.
Yeah. I knew there was county money, but they never said how much. We were
Oh,
supposed
they
to
didn't
get
know
it.
how much.
They didn't know, so we got
So
it.
what's the
Yeah.
total on that funding between the two?
Right now.
Must be about 800,000, close
So
to it,
far
as you hear
we've
over.
gotten-
It'd be
Then we actually have that money in
Well, right now
hand?
we have
Part
about
of it.
$622,000.
That's what we received so far. And you're anticipating
So you had
Then
Yeah.
another 216, and then I think another 216.
that money is not available to spend anyways, is it?
No, well, it has to be sent, it's earmarked for certain.
It has to be done through that whole process
Yeah,
of
okay.
ARPA.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know.
The only other question I would have on that is, when can we start the planning process to use that money? Anytime?
Well, that's what we're
Anytime.
supposed to be doing right now.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. All right.
we've had one discussion on it, but we haven't really got far with it. No.
What?
Your question, go ahead.
What broadly, what type of things can you spend it on?
Oh, there's a list, yeah.
It's.
Infrastructure.
Broadband, infrastructure,
Broadband.
which is water and sewer,
Yeah.
and.
List.
Is that listed?
Economic development.
There's
in
quite a
there,
list, yeah. Anything to do with
Fixing your
COVID.
foundation.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I questioned that
they're
last
saying
week.
no, but I've been thinking about it,
Yeah.
and there might be some way of getting it, because this
Yeah.
building here is extremely important during something like a pandemic, right?
Mhm.
So I don't know if we can, you know,
Yeah.
we'd have to get approval for it, but it is one thing I would consider.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
ahead and say it's gonna be really challenging after reading
Yeah.
the compliance
Yeah, but,
guidelines.
you know, you can't, if you're gonna say no, we're not gonna bother to do it, we'll never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I think it's worth, you know, working,
But I think there was
Coming up
wording
with-
in there that.
Maybe we can put it, it says in here, there's an enforcement of public health orders or public communication efforts. Maybe we use it under that, public health or something.
It's,
I
you
don't
know,
but,
you look
yeah.
at the
Yeah.
thing, and I've read part of it, that, cause Elizabeth sent me one a bigger one than that.
Yeah. There's a lot of things, yeah.
And, you know, even within that, that document, there's wording that says, you know, you can bend a little bit, you know, to make,
Mhm.
because it, you know,
Yeah.
so I think there's, you know, we shouldn't give up too quickly
Yeah.
on the idea. You know, especially if we find out we need to make a major,
Yeah.
you know, expenditure to do it.
Mhm.
It's worth looking into.
Anything else on that?
There'll be continued talks of
Yeah.
this moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we should just keep it on the agenda for the boilerplate, David. Flags for veteran sponsorships are still available. We still have a few more flags available if anyone wants to buy
Yeah,
one
probably
sponsorship.
down to about 14.
14-ish we got left, yeah.
14 left.
Okay.
Keep coming in.
14 left?
14 sponsorships.
Sponsorship left if you want to purchase one.
Around
Yeah.
it.
yeah. Community economic development updates will be at the next meeting.
Highway department.
Highway, I guess that's me. We finally received our sweeper today for the loader, and the loader's back after 2 months of waiting for a part, so. But, we got that back, so that's one good thing. Just waiting for an update on the new truck this week. It should be.
Close.
We were gonna use it last week for a show or something, so it must be done with it, but I'll find out this week. We're roadside mowing, mowers out there, if you see them, be careful. We're gonna start hauling winter sand pretty soon here, so I don't wanna talk about winter, but I don't, have anything else under highway particular.
Has salt come in yet?
Shed's full.
Is it?
It's still full from last year, but they'll start using it once they start mixing the sand, so, yeah. We had some salt money left, so I mean, so we used it for fill the salt shed, so, for the end of the year. Any other necessary business? Or anybody else for highway?
Nope.
No. Any other necessary business? David, anything? No. Correspondence, you got anything, David?
Yep.
Wow, nothing. Wow, that's a first. Public comment. Anything under public comment?
If I may, just
Absolutely.
share with everybody, I'm very excited that Rusty DeWeese, the Logger, Mack Truck Comedy and Music Show is coming to Swanton Recreation September 25th at 6 p.m. There's more information listed on our website. We also have Teen Night coming up on the 11th from 6:30 to 9:30 at Swanton Rec. And we're really excited to get some more kids out there. We had 13 on our first, and we're hoping to double, if not triple, our numbers for the next.
Good. Super. Upcoming events. Next planning commission meeting Wednesday, September 15th, 7 p.m. in person, 1 Academy Street. Next select board meeting's gonna be Tuesday the 21st, 7 p.m. in person or by Zoom, 1 Academy Street. Includes public hearing for proposed zoning bylaw amendments. Planning commission meeting is
That's a typo.
Tuesdays. What's that?
That's a conflict with our meeting.
Yeah. Planning
Yeah.
commission meetings Tuesday, September 21st, 7 p.m. in person or by Zoom.
Let me explain.
What's-
They're gonna be in attendance because you're gonna be voting on the zoning articles that night.
Who's gonna be in
The
attendance?
public hearing.
Public
The
hearing.
public hearing.
Public hearing.
Yeah.
The planning
The planning
commission will be
commission
here.
will be.
Oh, okay.
So that, I had to notice it because
Okay.
it's technically
Yep.
a meeting for
Yep.
them. Even though
Okay.
they're,
Yep.
they'll just be here.
Makes sense. Yep.
And the 23rd is for the DRB, and you just informed me, not the 30th. The next one.
The next DRB meeting's on the 23rd?
Yeah.
Instead of the 30th.
Okay. And is that still at 6 or is it a different time?
6 o'clock.
Okay. So the next DRB meeting is on September 23rd at 6 p.m. in person for the public, 121st Street. And that one you're still having at the Village Complex, right? Okay, that's the Village Complex for the DRB meeting. Hear a motion to go in executive session, discuss personnel. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I just got a, kind of a question and concern.
Yeah.
When Mr. Nolan was talking,
Yeah.
You, I'm not trying to point fingers, but
Yeah.
you didn't seem to really take him seriously, because you were sitting, with a grin and kind of, chuckling yourself and.
Listen to everything you had to say.
No, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, that's my feeling I got, and then, I forget,
Mark? Yep.
then, you seem to get very upset with him.
I wasn't upset, I just asked him a direct
I'm just
question.
saying, that's how I took it. I'm just sitting here observing.
Yep. And that, just for you, if you had that question, public comment would have been a perfect place to say that.
When
Public comment would have been a perfect time to say that if you wanted to say something about an issue.
Oh,
Yeah,
this is still new to me, so I.
that's okay. Yep. All right. Okay, thank you. I entertain a motion to go into executive session, discuss personnel.
I make a motion that we go into an executive session, discuss personal matters. I move that we finally enter into an executive session for a select board to receive confidential contract and personal information for which the premature disclosure of this to the general public will clearly place the select board and others at a substantial disadvantage.
I'll say that.
All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it.
I move that based on our just made findings, that premature disclosure would place the select board and others at a substantial disadvantage and enter executive session.
I'll say that.
Just a second on that, all right. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, I'll entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
I make a motion that we come out of executive session at 9:18.
I second that.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We did have a couple actions to take.
I move that, we hire Joseph Cava.
Yep.
For the administrative assistant position, and with a 30-day review period.
Yeah, 30-day trial period.
Yeah, 30-day trial period.
For the amount of $18 an hour.
For the amount of $18 an hour.
Yep. For that position.
That's gonna start on next Monday?
Yes.
That we're gonna go with?
I would say
I'll
so.
second that.
Yeah. Yep. Any other discussion?
None.
What's today's date? Yeah.
Yeah.
Today's the 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's fine. Yeah. We don't have any meetings this week anyway, so.
I was thinking of naming these meetings.
Well, if he wants to do it, then.
Well, they're
what-
later, though.
Yeah,
They won't be-
okay.
Right.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
You second?
I did.
Second, yeah. All right. David, do you want to read your thing or you want me to read it?
Well, I'll just
Yeah.
say that today I turned in a notice that I'll be resigning at the end of the year on December 31st. That'll be my last day of employment.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your years of service to the town.
Yep.
Anything else? I'll
I-
take a motion to-
I'll make the motion that we accept David's letter of
Yeah, let's do it.
you know what I mean?
Yep, resignation.
Resignation.
Yep.
Effective December 31st, 2021.
I second it.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion that we adjourn, select board meeting at 9:21.
I second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, folks. We're good.
Good night, all.